Welcome to Creepy and Geeky. I'm your host, Robert, and on today's episode, I'm talking to my daughter, Katrina, about M3gan 2.0. But first, Donna and I are talking about all the newest stuff. How's it going, Donna?
Robert, it is going well. I really am kind of jealous because whenever you do these intros, you always sound so like podcastery. You have like the best tone
Well,
when
I
you do these.
definitely put on I affect a more podcast voice than my normal than the rest of the conversation.
It
So,
sounds great though, because I always
well,
sound like
thank you.
a, 16-year-old white girl when I'm doing these things, which is fine. I mean, until they see the
I've never thought
picture.
that you sound like a 16-year-old white girl.
Oh my
I don't know.
gosh.
I've never heard that in your tone. But but you definitely don't sound your age for sure.
I
So
I have a phone type job, so whenever I talk to people, whenever they see
you have to
me in
code
like Zoom
switch. Yeah.
meetings, no, I don't code switch. This
Oh,
is
you don't?
me.
Okay.
No,
Okay,
not at
good.
all.
Good.
But it's so weird because
But you
I'll
have to
just
put
be
on customer
talking
service voice.
customer service voice, yes. But
Yes.
when they
Yeah.
see me in the Zoom meetings and whatever, you can see on their face, they're like, this isn't the
They're
same
like the
person. Yes, it is.
That's
Why, yes,
so
it
funny.
is.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's almost impossible for me to
I
code
think
switch at this point.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I think you shouldn't have to anyway, but customer service voice, anybody who's ever worked customer service
Oh
knows
yeah.
we all have done that.
Yeah, your customer service
Anytime.
voice is not your real voice because it's like,
Yeah.
who's this person that I'm fucking talking to?
Right. It's kind of like my podcast voices. My podcast voice is a much more, lower tone, because normally I feel like my voice is a little bit higher pitched, but it's yeah, no, this is the reason why, yeah, I never go back and listen to my episodes
Yeah, I can't
after
either.
it's edited. Yeah.
I really can't. I don't know what it is about my voice. I
Oh,
don't want to hear myself,
yeah, it's
but
so funny
everybody likes it.
being podcasters, and we hate the sounds of our voice being recorded.
I mean, I've always been told I have a very nice voice. So, when Sigmund suggested it, I figured why
Yeah.
not go for it. And then the more I do it, the more I'm like comfortable with it. I always like talking to people
Yeah.
anyway, but it's just so funny. And I have to tell you, we did the M3gan episode and you put up that picture that I gave you that was,
Yes.
oh my God, everybody loves that picture. And I was like, why? Why do you like
Well,
this picture?
I think for me too, because whenever I saw that, I'm not gonna lie, I saw it was the picture that you gave to Kelly for her tableteers thing, and
Yeah.
I saw that that was the picture, and I was like, oh, that's the picture I want because it's got your face in it. And so the picture I've been using of you for the last few years is the one that you use as your, I think, your profile picture on
Hmm.
Instagram. And so it's just the one of your aliens t-shirt, which is a cute picture, but it's not your face. And so I was just like, oh, I'd like to put a face to the name for everybody too. And so I think that's part of it, is that everybody's like, oh, that's what Donna looks like.
Nah, I don't like my face
So,
either.
oh, stop it. You got a good face. Um,
Oh my
but
gosh.
yeah, no, but I feel the same way, especially about my voice. Like I'm just like, and I like to think of it like, yeah, it sounds kind of high pitched, but I've got this like gravelly kind of undertone to it, that like there's a deepness on the bottom of it, and that's
Yeah.
what at least in my head, that's how I hear it.
And it works.
And okay, well, good. I'm glad it's coming across. Um, and so but yeah, no, that's I like to do the intros a little bit more, because I used to do them a little bit higher up, but I like doing them kind of more serious and welcome to Creepy and Geeky.
It sets the
Oh,
tone and the theme of the
yeah.
episode. So I will be honest with you. I only have about maybe 4 or 5 trailers. I'm pretty sure we may double up on a couple of
Oh,
trailers,
we're probably
but
definitely doubling up, because the stuff that I have is almost although you might be bringing some Shutter stuff that I'm not aware of, or
mhm.
because you always bring one or two like interesting things that I haven't seen or heard about. So, and I'm always usually like, oh, this is all the surface stuff that's coming through from Hollywood. so, so yeah, no, it'll be I think it'll be okay. And even if we double up, it'll be all right. So,
Well, good.
but yeah, let's go ahead and get started. As I said at the top of the thing that I did get to go see Megan 2.0, and you'll be hearing my daughter and I talk about this in the rest of the episode. But I thought it was good. That's I'm gonna leave it at that. If you like the first one, I think you'll like this one. I'm gonna say even though on Letterboxd it says one of the genres for it is horror, it's not horror like the first one was.
No, okay.
It's more sci-fi action, in my opinion. I don't think that works against it. I think it works very well for it. There's still a lot of comedy. And so I think that, if you like the first one and you're okay and you understand that it's not going to be as horror focused, I think you'll
Hmm.
be okay with it. So, but like I said, I'll be talking more about it with my daughter in the rest of the episode.
I do have to ask a question, and you can answer it or not.
hmm
Does it leave it open for yet another sequel?
Oh yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for sure.
I
Yeah,
figured it would, but
yeah.
it's
No, I think if this one does well, then they would be stupid to not to do a third one. If they find a good story for it, which I think they could. Um, but but again, yeah, I think it's one of those things. It's kind of like what happened with the Happy Death Day movies, where the Happy Death Day movies, the first one is like a horror comedy, and then the second one
Mhm.
was more of like a sci-fi, um, like you know, adventure comedy.
Oh,
And
okay.
so it was kind of like that. So you just kind of got to get on board if you like Megan and you like all the AI shenanigans with all that. I think most people will dig this one. It seems to be doing well with audiences. So hopefully people are going out and seeing it, and it'll get another one made because I like these. They're fun. They're goofy and they're a lot of fun. But yeah, that's all I have for that one. What is your first thing?
The first thing I wanted to talk to you about was the second Weapons trailer. I guess it's the final Weapons trailer
Yes.
because we both saw that it was out, and
Yes.
we never got back to talk about it. So,
Yes.
oh my fucking god, this
Yes. Oh
trailer.
my God.
And I really hope this is the last trailer. I don't want to see any more because I feel like
Yeah.
we got just enough to keep us on the edge of our fucking seats, and then that's all I want to do. I just want to be titillated to the point where I'm like, okay, I gotta see this now. I gotta see
Yeah.
this movie. Um,
Exactly.
this trailer has us seeing that clearly the adults are also affected. Before it was just the
Yes.
kids. We get to see the adults are running down the street. We get to see more people kind of stabbing themselves in the face with forks.
Yes.
This is bizarre. I cannot wait to see what's going on in
I
this
hope this
film.
lives up to every weird shit that's happening in this movie. Like, because Barbarian pulled it off for me. I know it didn't work for everybody, but
Mhm.
Barbarian worked for me. And I'm really hoping, given everything we've seen with this, that yeah, it was like, and normally we don't talk to each other about trailers during the week. We usually just are like, okay, yeah, I know they're probably gonna
Yeah.
see this and everything like that. But I had to like it's like as soon as it came out, I sent it to you and you were like, yeah, I haven't seen it yet. My son told me about it, but I haven't watched it yet. And I was like, okay, we'll have to talk about it later. And then, of course we didn't talk about it because we want to talk about it here on the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just like, I couldn't wait to talk to you about it because it was just like, holy crap, there's so much craziness going on in this that like this is one of the most anticipated for me of the year. I think
Yeah.
this is going to be a strong like it's got to be in my top 5 of the year.
I mean, we're
So
getting these little breadcrumbs, but they're like so delicious. Like we see Josh Brolin
yes.
is doing like this sleuth thing, and he's got maps, and then we see Benedict Wong running down the street with a bloodied face, and I'm like,
Yes.
what the fuck is going on in this
Right?
movie? I cannot wait to put my ass in the seat and
Yeah.
watch this.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is going to be yeah, the heavy first day watch for me. Be sitting my butt right there in that theater.
Child, I'm
Um
already planning my day off. I am not going to work.
right? I'm telling you.
Oh
Yeah,
my
no,
gosh.
it's gonna be good. Um, yeah. So we also got the new Eddington trailer. Um, did you see that one?
I did.
Okay. And we the another trailer. I don't think it tells us too much more than we had already kind of learned from the
No.
last one. But it's just more. I'm hyped for this one too. Definitely it I'm hoping there's more to it than just a like a fictionalized version of a town in um during COVID. And the crazy shit that happens. I mean, if that's all it is, I'm fine with that too. It
Hmm.
looks crazy just based on all of that. But I don't know. Like I want there to be something like in the vein of Hereditary and Midsummer, just like something else that's gonna just kind of that dark undercurrent there. But
I feel that there will be. I
I
think
feel
he's
like
doing
there's
this on
something there.
purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm hoping for, is something in that vein. Um, but like because I think that he really excels at that kind
Hmm.
of story. Um, but yeah, no, that's another one I'm really excited to see, and definitely will be watching in the theater. I've now gotten to see, because A24 went back and did some of their movies on IMAX not too long ago, so I was able to finally see Hereditary and Midsummer on the big screen.
Hmm.
So I've now seen every one of his movies on the big screen. Unfortunately, in the case of Beau is Afraid. Um, but Hereditary and Midsummer are two of my favorite movies of all
Yeah,
time. So
I
I'm just
agree.
like, yeah. So I'm excited for Eddington, and hopefully he's, and I love the cast. I'm not huge, as everybody's heard me before. I'm not huge on Joaquin Phoenix, but everybody else in the cast is like great. So I'm excited for
Yeah.
it.
I
So
agree with you though. There's not really too much more added to this trailer, but I think that's probably done purposefully so that
oh
we
yeah,
don't, we'll go in thinking it's one thing and then hopefully we'll get, you know, something else and something more
right,
sinister and eerie.
exactly. All right. What's your next thing?
So my next thing is probably one that you already are on as well, which is the new Yorgos Lanthimos film
Yep.
Bugonia.
Yep.
And I am so excited about this movie simply because it is a remake of Save the Green Planet. I bought Save
Oh,
the
okay.
Green Planet I think I bought that about 6 months ago, because my son told me about it. And I was like, okay, well, I want to see this film before I go into the remake. And it is hard to explain what that movie is about. I know that Begonia gives you basically the synopsis is two men kidnap a CEO of a major company because they think that she's an alien and that she has a plan to destroy the earth. And Save the Green Planet, I'm not going to give anything away, and because you may want to go and watch that. That movie has literally every genre possible in this film. We are talking martial arts, we're talking action, western, animation, whatever you think, rom-com, it's all in this movie, and it is bizarre. Um, so the fact that Lanthimos is remaking this is I'm on the edge of my seat. Plus, we got obviously Emma Stone, his muse,
Hmm.
and we also
Yeah.
have Jesse Plemons, who I absolutely love. So the trailer looks very interesting. It gives
Yeah.
me a little bit of hope to see how he's going to do this film, if it's going to be exactly like the original, or is this going to be his own flair, which I'm perfectly fine with his flair.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, I've been on board with his stuff since Poor Things. And I still got to go back and watch a few of his movies, his English language stuff before Poor Things. I own them all. I just haven't sat down and watched them yet.
Hmm.
But I need to do that. But I'm on board for anything he does now. Kinds of Kindness was crazy and interesting. And I had a lot of fun with that. So definitely interested in this one. Apparently Ari Aster is a producer on this as well. So
Oh, really?
that yeah, so that's a good matchup right there. So um I'm excited to see this one. It was definitely one of the ones on my list as well, because I was just like, I saw it, and I almost skipped over it too because I was like, "What is this? I don't care." And then I went back and I was like, "Let me check this out." And I was like, "Oh shit, it's the new Yorgos Lanthimos one." I was like, "Okay, I'm on board." So,
Yeah,
um,
this is
but yeah, I didn't know it was a
I'm
remake though. So
yeah, I'm very interested because I think it was like a 2000 early 2000 Korean film, and
yeah,
like I said, my son was telling me about it, and luckily I was able to get a copy of Amazon, and it was just the most bizarre movie, but I enjoyed the hell out of it. So I'm so super excited to see how Lanthimos is going to put his spin on this.
yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no, it's gonna be definitely gonna be an interesting movie. Yeah, no, we're getting some cool stuff this year. It's definitely going to be an interesting top 10 for me
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because there's already some pretty strong contenders. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what comes out. We're not even like, I mean, we're at half a year already right now. We're
Right.
about to enter the second half. So we're definitely going to have some really strong stuff coming in. But there's been some good stuff already. All right. Well, keeping in the horror vein, a trailer for The Strangers Chapter 2 also dropped, um, which was finally, which from what I understood, Chapter 2 was supposed to have come out last year. I think they bumped it back because Chapter 1 didn't do that well.
Mm-hmm.
But we talked about this briefly last year when it came out because I did go see it in the theater. I think the problem with Chapter 1 was that it was basically a remake of the original. There were a few little differences, but it didn't do anything to really move the needle that much. Um, Other than what we knew was that the the woman in the couple survives,
Right.
and then was going to continue in the rest of the trilogy. And yeah, this one looks pretty good actually. It picks up on the threads that some of the threads that were left in the first one that I was like, okay, they need to pick up on this. Because it was weird because they had Richard Brake in the first one, but he was like a blinking you miss it bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then, he feels like he's playing maybe a slightly larger role in this one. Maybe he won't be as big until the third one. I don't know. They were all filmed back to back. Um,
Oh,
so so I know that they're all done for as far as I know. So they're all probably going to be released like one a year, I guess now is what they're doing, just to kind of space them out. But I think that's why this one got pushed back was because the first one didn't do so good and they were like, well, let's just push it back and see. But that was my theory on it in the first place was that he was kind of remaking the first one to give us what was going to be in 2 and 3, which
right.
were more of the ideas for where he was going with it. But this one definitely has echoes of like Halloween 2, because she's in a hospital trying to fight them off. But it also looks like she's outside of the hospital at some point as well. So, but shit's going down for her and it's not good. So,
Oh man.
yeah. So yeah, definitely. Did you see this trailer?
I saw it, and
Okay.
I did kind of feel that way too. It looks like Richard Brake might be a little bit bigger in
I'm
this
hoping.
one.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite actors. I don't know what it is about him, but he's good at playing creepy people.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
he
Yeah.
really is good at it. And I really enjoy a lot of stuff that he's in. Barbarian was one of those things that I didn't
Yes.
expect to see him in, and when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, I'm sold. This is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I've never really been big on the Strangers,
Yeah,
any
same.
version of it, so I probably will still watch it just because I
Well,
did
Pray at
see.
Night is actually pretty decent.
Yeah,
I think
that one
that's
is
the best
actually
one.
alright.
Yeah. Yeah. So that one's really good, especially because it's like it echoes like a lot of other filmmakers and it does
Mhm.
it well rather than like just being like, I don't know, terrible.
Right.
It actually does it really well. So, uh, but, uh, but yeah, I just, yeah, I'm with you. This series has been just kind of like low on my thing, but I'll go see this one. The
Mhm.
first one was okay. It didn't wow me or anything like that, but um this one looks interesting. So
Yeah, I'll definitely give it a whirl, I'm sure.
um what was I gonna say? Yeah, that's what I thought. I was gonna say Pray at Night has our boy Lewis Pullman in it. So um He's like the son in that one. Um,
Oh shit, that was him.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
I
No, I
do love
know.
Lewis Pullman.
I'm telling you, our boy, man. So yeah. Yeah, no, I'm excited for that. And I'm cautiously excited for that
Yeah,
one. All
always
right, what else
cautiously
you got?
optimistic.
Yeah,
Always.
exactly.
So the next thing I have is Tubi has a movie. Tubi is getting into releasing their own original movies, and they have one that's out called "Please Don't Feed the Children." Um, I know that sounds like a throwback '70s title to me, you
Yeah,
know.
definitely. Yeah.
Um, but it does look pretty interesting. It has Michelle Dockery is in this, and so is Giancarlo Esposito. And the trailer makes it look very interesting. I think it dropped on the 27th of this month of June. And it basically, the synopsis is after a deadly viral outbreak, a group of orphans flees in search of a new life, only to be taken hostage by a woman hiding a sinister secret. So, it
Hmm.
looks over the top. It kind of gives me 70s throwback vibes, but I'm a little interested in this just because all of the little to be produced or to be originals, they're not all good, but a lot of them are a
Right.
lot more fun than you realize, and they're usually a lot more interesting. At least some of the horror stuff that they've been putting out, it's been decent. So this is one I kind of want to check out just to see what the little twist is and how everything plays out.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds interesting. Yeah, no, most of I will admit, most of what comes out of Tubi that's an original thing looks like some of the worst straight to video stuff.
It's like the
Um,
bargain basement sci-fi, when
yeah,
even
it's like the
sci-fi
five
channel
dollar
stuff.
bin. It's like the $5 bin at Walmart. Um,
Right. And I'm not gonna sit here and say Giancarlo Esposito hasn't been in some dog shit movies. I mean, and sometimes
yeah,
sometimes even the ones that are dog shit movies are fun. I mean, if it's entertaining, I don't give a crap if it's a terrible looking film. Just
yeah,
just
exactly.
entertain me and tell a good story.
Well, and
Michelle
that's the
Dockery,
thing. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say Michelle Dockery is just one of those actresses I really like. She's always playing an upstanding English person and like Downton Abbey or The Gentleman. She was in the Gentleman film, and
Mhm.
I've grown to really like her a lot. So that has me a little intrigued to see what she's doing with this role.
Yeah. No, that it sounds interesting. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Like, I think that if a movie's at least entertaining, um, it doesn't matter how well or bad it's made or anything like that. I'm okay with that. Like, I've been going back and watching old Godzilla movies from like the 60s and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And I actually been really enjoying the it's so funny too because you grow up and you're just like, oh, I just want the monster fights. And like I want that, yes, but at the same time, I'm been actually more invested in the human stories of those.
Right.
And so I'm just like, because the humans are because once you get to the monster fight, you realize just how silly they are, at least in this early era when it's the 60s, when the sets are just like they're obviously miniatures and it's kind of hard to get away from that. But it's like
Hmm.
the suits are really terrible.
Yep.
And so it's just like, okay, let me just invest in the human story because it's actually interesting and sometimes um like especially when they start getting farther and farther into it, the stories were a little bit more comical and stuff and they were a little bit more fun. And so I'm like, okay, these are actually fun for what they are. They're not great by any means, but they're fun for what they are. So
I
um,
agree.
so anyway, but yeah, no, I'm totally on board for if as long as it's entertaining, that's all I care about.
Hmm.
So, all right, well, I only have one more thing, and that's the Fantastic Four final trailer just dropped this week as well. And I'm pretty hyped for this movie. This is going to be pretty crazy. We're going to see Galactus in all his glory. Although they've done really a good job about only showing you glimpses of him without
Hmm.
showing you him fully, um, which I think is fantastic. I think that was the right way to go. Never showing him fully, just showing him just like his feet or like from behind his helmet or something like that. It's just like
Right.
like perfect way to do all this. but it looks interesting, especially because it looks like it's taking place over a period of time because like you see um uh, Invisible Woman um you know gets pregnant, is pregnant, and then has their son um during the course of the movie. So obviously that when all this is happening is it's taking place over a good portion of time.
Hmm.
So I like that. I like that we're gonna get like a good you know cross section of their lives throughout the movie. Even if it's just like 1 year. But um it looks like a lot of fun. It looks like it's gonna have some very high stakes to it, and the world that they've got going on looks real cool and interesting. I love that
Yeah, I
retro
love the set
futuristic
pieces.
look.
Yep, I
Yeah.
was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, so I'm excited for all that. It's just it's gonna be a great movie. I'm excited. July starts with Superman and ends with the Fantastic Four, so it's gonna be a fun month. With
Hmm.
all with those two, and then all the other good stuff that's come in between.
And then
But
we'll have
yeah,
to
no.
collect all of the popcorn boxes for this. They've already got Galactus and they've got the one with Reed Richards. And I'm like, I can't get any
Yeah,
more
I can't.
popcorn
No, I
box.
can't.
I
I can't. I
can't.
can't. No, I can't. I think the last one I got was the Captain America shield,
I mean,
and
where
that
am I
was
going to
it.
put all of this shit?
I know. The shield thankfully is just up on my wall. So I'm
Oh,
like
see, that's
I was
cool
able to hang that.
though.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's cool. Yeah, I was able to hang that up and
But it's like every
put it on
time
my wall.
something comes out, they've got a new popcorn. And I'm like, I cannot keep collecting these
Yeah,
things.
exactly. No, and it's hard too because like my kids work at AMC, so it's like
You're tempted
I
all the time.
they don't get a discount for it, but like I could definitely like get them sometimes. Like I've
Right.
missed out on a couple that I would have wanted, but I'm glad I didn't get them because like
Yeah, me
yeah,
too.
they end up
I'm
just in the
so glad.
closet. So it's just yeah. But yeah, no, I'm excited to see at least what they put out. They put out a Megan 2.01 and her face comes off and it's the robot face
Oh
underneath.
my
And I was
gosh,
like,
that is
that's
so
cool. I
cute.
don't want it. I don't want it, but I also do want it. But like I don't have any place for it.
Yeah,
So I
I
gotta just
want everyone that comes out. I cannot stand
yeah.
this, but I can't. I Headpool is sitting underneath my TV and I love it there. I love
That's good.
looking at
That's
it.
good.
But Wolverine's in the closet. Like I have no
What?
room for him. I don't have room for him.
That's too funny.
Oh my
Uh
gosh.
all right. Well, did you have anything else?
No, that was literally all I had. I thought I had one more, but I didn't.
All right. Well, good. Yeah, we didn't double up too much, so that's not too bad. I'm sure we crossed over a little bit, but
But that's
uh,
okay.
yeah, no, definitely. All right. But before we move on to the rest of the show, why don't you let everyone know what you've got on your show this week?
So because I'm still trying to get back into the groove of doing my podcast, I actually missed a week last week, but I am dropping a minisode on this week, and I'm just giving out my humble horror nerd opinion on some underrated summer themed horror films that people don't really talk about, and they probably should.
All right. Cool. Cool. All right. Well, we'll definitely be checking that out. But excuse me. And then you'll be back here next week to talk more fun stuff and maybe be on the long part of the episode as well. Uh or no, not next week. I think it's the week afterward. Um
It'll be coming
but you'll be
soon.
yeah, you definitely be coming back soon. But until then, stay creepy. On today's episode, my daughter Katrina returns to the show to talk about the new movie Megan 2.0 for the finale in my AI horror series. Welcome back to the show, Katrina.
Hi, thank you. It's been a
Yeah,
while.
it has been. Yeah. Yeah, your schedule between work and school and everything else is always kind of a pain in the
Yeah.
butt. We were actually going to record this like the night we saw it, but with everything going on, it just kept slipping by.
Hmm.
So, so we're finally doing it, just in time for it to come out. And yeah, so this, just for everybody listening, this will be spoiler filled. So if you haven't seen the new movie yet, skip this until you've seen it and then come back and listen to it again. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, this actually kind of like it's not really AI horror. I mean, there are some horror elements to it, but it's less horror than the
Yeah.
first one was. But there, but at the same time, the horrors of AI itself actually are like pretty prevalent through this one.
Yeah.
Um, so,
Very
that's
heavy-handed.
yeah. Not in a bad way though.
Yeah, no. I think
So
we need like movies like this because like I feel like we all know the dangers of AI, but
well, some people
I'm
do, some people
sure,
don't.
yeah, well, yeah, but I'm sure like half the people who worked on this movie
Yeah.
used GPT at some point. And so it's like you like it's so inherent in our lives that movies like this kind of remind us of why we should be scared of AI.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
think we've forgotten a little bit. So,
Well, and this is something that I went into in the conversation with Donna on the last episode for the first Megan is that, you know, that one is about AI being unfettered because the creator of it, did not put the guardrails in place
mhm,
for her to be bound by because she was
mhm,
trying to do it really quick. And um, so that's why. And then this is an extension of that uh, in a lot of ways,
yeah,
to a degree. And so, you know, it's, it I don't want to get into it too much because I want to talk about it towards the end of the
mhm,
conversation about the twist on it and everything.
yeah,
But it's you that's that's the inherent scariness of it, I
mhm,
think, is that with AI, if you're just letting it run amok without guardrails and without people really thinking about the moral implication of what they're using it for, I think that's where
yeah,
it becomes problematic. And I think that's the same thing with Chat GPT and generative AI and stuff like that. People who use those things aren't thinking of the not just the moral, but also the actual implications of using these things, like the
mhm,
environment, like really the the environmental damages,
mhm,
the copyright infringements and stuff like that that are occurring
yeah.
because of this.
Especially with art, that like so many people's original works are just being sent into these AI databases and
Yeah.
then being compiled into new works that people are now taking credit for other
Yeah.
people's work and love put into this thing, and then they can put in like three keywords and spit something out and then post it and get millions of likes. And so it's like
Yeah. Or
there's
trying to
no,
profit off of it,
yeah, well,
So, I
millions of
mean,
likes that turn into money if
yeah.
they're doing it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Um, so I mean, that's the bigger implications of AI as a whole. This movie doesn't really like delve into that side of things.
Mhm.
Obviously, this is a campy um, Hollywood movie that they're just trying to have fun with it. They're trying to bring up some interesting ideas, don't get me wrong, but ultimately this lands on, just trying to have a fun, good time.
Yeah,
Which is fine. I'm not opposed to that. I really enjoyed
yeah.
this movie. I gave it a solid 4 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd. And there's a genre shift in this. The like I said, the original movie goes from um, very campy horror comedy to this one's a sci-fi action comedy
Mhm.
with some horror in it, but mostly just sci-fi action.
Yeah.
It's basically Terminator 1 to Terminator 2, in terms of like horror to sci-fi
Hmm.
action, you know, but a comedy version of those.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, what did you think overall of the movie?
I thought it was a really good movie. I don't usually come into watching these movies unless I'm like really passionate about them, like the Hunger Games or like the Halloween movies or things like that. Like I don't come into watching movies with a lot of expectations. I like to just watch. I Despite working at a movie theater, I'm not a big movie person. I don't choose to watch movies in my free time. If I'm going to watch something, I'll watch like YouTube or like Netflix or something. I'll choose to watch like shows and like little bite-sized things rather than hour, 2 hour long
Which is
films.
ironic though, because then by watching those shows, you're investing even more time.
Exactly. But
See, and I'm on the opposite side of that where I tend to watch more movies than TV shows because I've
yeah,
got less time and I'd rather sit for that hour and a half to 2 hour
yeah.
real quick, a one and done movie. It's done,
Mhm.
and then I'm not invested in a huge season's worth of TV
Yeah.
shows and stuff like
Well,
that.
the thing is for
So
me is I have like at least 20 shows, probably more than that at this point, that I have started and not finished.
yeah.
I recently got into watching Thai dramas, and I have a running list on my phone of shows I need to watch, shows I've finished, and shows I've started. And the shows that I've started is like 5 shows longer than the ones that I've finished. And so I have like 10 that I'm currently watching that have like an episode or two left that I'm just like, once I'm kind of done with whatever I'm doing, I'll just go, okay, well now I want to watch something new. And so, but in regards to M3gan, like I I don't go into movies with high expectations. Especially I feel like I'm one of the weird ones where I go into sequels and things and I'm not like expecting a lot. I actually get pretty frequently frustrated with reviewers when they're like comparing movies too heavily to one another,
Right.
even if they are in the same series or saga or whatever. I find it frustrating because I feel like if you want to make a good movie, you should be able to have your sequels stand on their own and not be fully heavily reliant on the information given in the first movie. So I don't mind this kind of genre shift because I haven't seen M3gan since it came out, and now I'm watching M3gan 2.0, and I feel like I just jumped back into it and it's fine. Like do
Right.
enough they do enough world building in the sequels for people who haven't watched it and people who haven't seen the movie in a while to be able to jump in. But then it's also good for people who have recently watched the original movie to jump in and just have that be a continuation. And
Right. No,
so,
I agree with you. I think they did a decent job in the beginning with the exposition
mhm.
with just catching you up. Because I mean, to be fair, the first Megan's not an overly complicated story.
Yeah,
Killer robot, like AI
yeah.
robot goes on a rampage. It's
Hmm.
fairly easy. And so that was what was nice about it is it's really easy to do a quick exposition info dump
Yeah.
that was entertaining,
Yeah.
wasn't boring or
And not
anything.
have it be kind of like a redo of the first movie. It was more so like this is where the characters are now and this is how this reaction to the first movie, like movie's events, it
Right.
has influenced the characters now and it kind of sets the stage for where the ant is and where the characters are now basically. And so I
Right.
like that. Like I think I like this movie. So
Yeah.
I don't know what I would rate it, but I mean, probably a 4. I don't know. I found it fun. It was
Yeah.
funny. Um,
Yeah, that's the thing. I tend to like if I like it, if I go to the movie theaters and I come out of it and I'm like, okay, I like that. I didn't hate it. Like I actually liked it. I enjoyed it. I had a fun time. I usually give it a 4.
yeah.
That's my thing coming out of the theater. I try not to give anything fives anymore coming out of the theater, even if something blows me away. Then I'll give it a 4.5. Because for me, like I've
Hmm.
mentioned this before on the show that a five is something that like is
Hmm.
definitely something that was like a 4 or 4.5 when I saw it first, and then has grown on me even more so through subsequent viewings, and then I beef it up to a 5.
Yeah.
Um,
For
but
me, I don't care that much. If
yeah,
something makes
no,
me laugh, cry, whatever, I'll rate it above a 3. I'll
yeah,
rate things like a 3 down if I feel like I like some part of the movie has wasted my time. Like
Yeah.
if I like that's really how I rate things. Like if I'm entertained and I don't feel like I wasted my time really, then
Yeah.
I'll rate it high enough.
Yeah, see, for me, that's three and above. Three is like if it's a movie that was just okay, I had an okay time with it, it was interesting, but didn't wow me, then it'll get a three.
Hmm.
And then anything that wastes my time is like a two and below, because I'm just like, nah,
Hmm.
that wasn't worth my time. But yeah, I know, I agree. I think that this one was a lot of fun. I like, and in some ways, I think it's better than the first one. You know, everybody's gonna have their tastes.
Yeah.
And I like the first one. I like the first one a lot. But I think that this one kind of just had like where the first one was kind of finding its footing and stuff.
Hmm.
I think this one built upon it in such a good way
Hmm.
that it worked so much better. And I think it, with
Yeah.
with the Katie character being older and
Yeah.
being able to be more of her own thing instead of just being like the helpless little girl like
Yeah.
she was in the first movie. I think that played a bigger role in that as well.
Hmm.
Um but yeah, I don't know. I think, bringing everybody back that they could bring back everybody that survived. Allison Williams
Yeah.
back, and um, and I think it's funny too because they were just like, okay, well, we're gonna bring back Megan, and one of her things is she wants to be taller, and of course that's because the girl who plays her is now older
Yeah.
also, and
Yeah.
wanted to. It was a nice little cheat for them to be able to adjust for the height of the girl who you know grew up.
Yeah.
So I love that, just those little those little neat things. But I think like, overall, just it's just a fun movie. I mean, if you don't know, the movie is that, Gemma is the character who created Megan in the first movie.
Hmm.
She's now like a tech person who's like, it goes out and speaks about uh like being careful with tech now.
Yeah.
She's done a 180 from before where she was just like balls out, tech is everything.
Tech is the
um
future too.
yeah,
Tech can
and
be the
then
future if we
yeah, and then now she's like,
careful.
and that's the thing, she's not saying tech is bad at all in this. She's just like,
Yeah.
we have to be careful with the tech. She's
Hmm.
learned her lesson, which is great. Like that's what you want to see
Yeah.
in a
It's
character, is have
growth.
some growth like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so she's creating new technology. She creates a new like suit, like this new uh like thing that people can wear on their bodies, on their arms and their legs and stuff like that, and it's supposed to help people with like, I guess, who are
Strength.
paralyzed and
Yeah.
other stuff, so they can walk and move, and it's supposed to help workers so they can lift things and everything.
Yep.
um and so we get this funny little bit with Jermaine Clement coming in as this like tech billionaire guy who's fusing tech with organic. Like he's got stuff bonded to him and everything like that to make him
Neuralink.
be able to, yeah, yeah, exactly. So he's got this like um thing on his head where he's like seeing a screen like through his eyes and everything.
Yeah.
It's just,
If
it's
anyone's played
crazy.
the game Detroit Become Human, it's kind of like the little thing that the robots have on the side of their head.
Okay, all right, cool. Yeah, I have yet to play that. I have it, but I haven't played
Yeah.
it yet.
All the robots in Detroit Become Human have a little thing on the side of their head
Yeah.
and that reminded me of it when I watched the film.
Mm,
So,
okay. Yeah, so he's done something like he was apparently in a wheelchair and now he's able to walk through his own, tech and everything. And so, he plays this comical kind of, shitty tech billionaire guy. And he wants Gemma to work with him. And she doesn't want to do it because he's slimy and everything.
yeah.
But um but that leads into and then meanwhile the government's running a you know a military version of Megan called Amelia.
Hmm.
But she gets loose. She
Yep.
goes against her programming and becomes sentient and is doing
Rogue.
stuff. Yeah, she goes rogue and starts killing people whoever had anything to do with her design. And
Yeah.
so the government comes to Gemma and is like, she might be coming after you. So
Yeah.
um and then Megan being hidden in the in the programming in Gemma's stuff makes herself known
Hmm.
and says, hey, you know what? I'm still going to protect Katie. That's my programming, the way you programmed me to do it. So if you want my help, I can help you, but I need a new body.
Yeah.
And so I mean most of this is in the trailers.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to go over and over explain a lot of it, but what you see in the trailer is pretty much what you get in the movie.
Hmm.
Um and um it's just I don't know. I had a good time with it. I'm glad that so many of the original people were able to come back. They tied things together the way the government got the um the information from Gemma was through the guy in the first movie who stole the um all the plans and stuff like that from her
Hmm.
computer. So there was that like little thing that they did in the last one to kind of move it into this one. So it was kind of nice to like they actually followed up on things, I thought. So
Yeah. Tied up loose ends.
yeah. So I think that's one of the things. I mean, especially because I mean they turned this around really quick. It was like 2023 was when the first one came out. So now like 2 years later we got the new one.
Hmm.
Um so it's nice that they were able to and it's the same it's the same director and the first movie was written by Akilah Cooper and James Wan, and then this movie was written by Akilah Cooper and the director Gerard Johnstone. um and so at least with that it was Akilah Cooper in both um
There's a
movies.
consistency
So
in the
there's
writing.
yeah, exactly. And being the same director for both of them, the
Hmm.
same, he obviously, I watched the special features. I just watched Megan again recently for the last episode. And so then I watched the special features and like he was very passionate about the movie. So it was good that it wasn't just like a quick work for hire thing. He was very involved in it. And so I think that passion for the first movie
Hmm.
translated over into the second movie a
Yeah.
lot. So yeah, so you could just tell. Like I think that everybody was having a lot of fun with this movie. It was great to see Megan get upgraded and
Hmm.
get even stronger and more powerful.
Yeah.
She's more sassy in this one, even more so than in the first one, because she in the first one
Yeah.
she was really sassy, but in this one she's like super sassy. So it was
She's like,
really
I've been stuck in the ether for who knows how long. So I'm
yeah, and
good.
that was one of the things too, is that like she was losing herself. The more she
Yeah.
didn't have a body, the more she was losing
Yeah.
herself in the just being a program,
Hmm.
which was an interesting thing.
Yeah.
So, was there anything that you wanted to comment on, um,
I
that
think
I didn't
that
pick up on?
uh I just think that the house like okay. So I'm confused about something because I was just thinking at the beginning when the like FBI people come and the house is basically like hitting everything. Was that actually like hitting all the bad guys and like helping them out? Was that actually the house or was that Megan
It was Megan
acting?
operating
Okay.
it was Megan
Okay.
doing all of that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because I just got really confused and was like, wait, that was probably Megan. Because this entire
yeah,
time I was like, oh, it was whatever the other program thing is for the house. I forgot what it was
the
called.
Elsie. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought it was Elsie doing all that. I was like, oh wow, that's
No, so at
scary.
the end of the
Uh
first movie, they at the very end, like Katie and Gemma are like um recovering from
yeah.
the fight with Megan. And they're like in the doorway, and then it slowly pans into the room, and then
Yeah, I
Elsie turns
remember.
on. Yeah. And so that's the implication is that the program Megan had
Okay.
managed to
Okay,
put
okay,
herself
okay.
into
Yeah.
Elsie. So I think that's where she's been the whole time was in the
Yeah.
Elsie.
Hmm.
And then and that's why when you see her in that sequence when she's talking to Gemma, she's in the screens and everything
Yeah.
else, and so she's just kind of integrated herself into like what for us would be like an Alexa or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so um but yeah, no, I love that part too because it's like Megan using the house against these trained
Yeah. It
FBI
feels it feels
guys
kind
and
of
stuff.
Home Alone-ish a little bit, but
Yeah, 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 definitely. And then Katie was kicking ass because in the intervening time she's learned some martial arts and stuff,
yeah.
and so she actually ends up kicking one of the guys' asses too,
Yeah.
um, which was fun.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I think that's what I think. I think a genre shift was what was needed. I think if you tried to lean into the horror again, it would just be the same thing.
Mhm.
And I think that's it's hard to keep that up sometimes. I mean, because you end up, I mean, you look at like the Halloween movies or the Friday the 13th movies or something like that, where it's just
Mhm.
like, okay, it's the same story over and over again. If you just had Megan trying to kill Gemma and Katie again or something like that,
Yeah.
it'd just be the same thing.
Yeah.
Um,
They leveled
and
up the story and it
yeah,
I think it favored them.
yeah, and it turns Megan into not a hero, but like an anti-hero.
Hmm.
She's still, a sassy, program
Yeah,
trying
still
to
doing it
like,
mostly for herself, but she
yeah,
realizes that she's gonna have to work with Gemma if she wants to protect Katie.
yeah,
And so there's growth on Megan's part too.
yeah, exactly. And I think that's what's a lot of fun too, is that, you have this whole thing. But that's where, it leads to kind of the reveal later on that we're gonna jump ahead because I mean, it's they end up they end up having to hide down in a bunker that Megan
Yeah.
has created for them. That's got all kinds of food and clothing and everything for
Hmm.
all of them, which includes Gemma and Katie and Gemma's two partners in her new job, even though both of her partners feel more like they're just employees, um, which is a running thing in the show or in the movie as well. But so once they decide, okay, well, um, we're gonna give um Megan a proper body because Megan's made herself a body, but it's like made of
Yeah.
spare parts and it's like very creepy and like it's just rolling
Yeah.
around on wheels and stuff like that. So it's not very well done. She could only do what she could do. But they make her a new body down there and decide that yeah, she's our best bet to stop this
Amelia.
Amelia robot. And so they send her in. But then with Gemma and Katie there, Katie ends up getting kidnapped by Amelia during this battle at this like AI
Tech
tech
conference.
tech conference. Yeah. Which is great. It's got great sequence. There's this stupid bit where like stupidly funny. It's good. But it's the part where Megan is basically like pretending to be a dancer. But she's just a little too good at like doing the
The
moves
robot,
and
yeah.
yeah, and ends up like turning her whole body around while her head stays still, and then the
And
audience is like, "Whoa, wait!"
yeah, so
So
you're an actual robot.
yeah,
And then
um,
one of the FBI
so
guys is trying to find her. And he goes, oh, well,
yeah,
yeah, that's where she is.
yeah. So yeah, there's this really douchey guy that's uh leading the government guys around and but he's good for comic relief as well.
Yeah.
Um but uh but yeah, once they kidnap Katie and stuff like that, it leads to this whole reveal that they find out because Gemma gets does she get taken at that point? I think she does too. Um I'm trying to think.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Um but anyway, so at some point Gemma finds out that the guy that she's been working with, um, this guy who used to be heavy into AI, but now is a like is a proponent for responsible AI and tech and everything like that as well. She's been working with him. She finds out that he's actually in control of this group that's trying to um like control this older AI that you find out about. That in the 1980s, this copier company accidentally created an AI that became super powerful, and they had to lock it up and basically put it in a Faraday cage, which means it's disconnected from all the rest of the internet and everything else. That way, it
Hmm.
wouldn't take over the world. Basically, so it wouldn't become Skynet, which is funny too, because they say that it was created in 1984, which is the year that the original Terminator came out. So I thought that was a funny. It's like that's pretty much the only thing in which it's like connected to the Terminator, but I thought they totally meant to do that on purpose because there's no
Yeah.
way they would say 1984. They could have chosen another year, but I love that, especially cycling back around to the beginning of this AI horror series, which I covered the Terminator. So,
Hmm.
um, but so you find out that he's involved in um, like it. I think that was the part that was confusing to me. It's like he wants to control it. Like I don't think he wants to let it loose. I think he just ultimately wants to keep it under
Like
control.
having power over something is what he wants.
Yeah.
To be
And
able
then
to be the one that has
uh,
everything, basically.
yeah, and so you come to find out that Amelia was never rogue AI, that he was controlling her the whole time.
Yeah.
That she's never been set loose on her own.
Yeah. He was killing the people by using her.
Yeah, for
That
his
way,
own.
those people couldn't have access to that program.
Yeah, exactly. And so it comes down to like the final battle, and at some point, Gemma gets she gets an implant put on her head because he's trying to control her, and so he's going to control her by using this tech bonded to her to control her,
Hmm.
make her compliant. But when Megan's body gets destroyed, she manages to implant her personality, her program into Gemma.
Hmm.
And so
Into
there's
the
this, in,
device, into the
yeah,
neural
into
imaging that
yeah,
he puts into Gemma.
right, exactly. So so it's this great sequence where Gemma and Megan have to kind of work together um in Gemma's body.
Yeah.
So it's really fun. Which is great too, because there's a point where Gemma gets knocked out, but because um Megan is still there, she can control Megan's body while
Yeah.
she's passed out. So it kind of reminds me, for those of you who really like the movie oh, what is it? Malignant, where the police uh the police what is it? The police station sequence in that, it kind of reminded me of that. It's not nearly as crazy as that,
Hmm.
but it reminds me of that sequence. Um and being that this movie was produced by James Wan, kind of makes sense, kind of like a nod to that. Um so yeah, so it's I don't know. Is it I think that the twist is great. I think that everything that they added to this movie was a lot of fun. Um, and just all the little twists and turns that it has, um, just make it a lot of fun. I again, I think that shifting it to sci-fi action was a good choice. It's kind of reminiscent of the Happy Death Day movies, where they went from horror to sci-fi as well. And I know that didn't, for a lot of people, that kind of some people have bothered them, but I mean, I think that it works. I think sometimes you just can't keep doing the same thing without being too repetitive.
Hmm.
So I don't know if we need another mega movie after this.
Yeah.
I think this is good the way it ended, but if we get another one, sure, as long as they can find a good story out of it,
Yeah.
that's all I would want. um
Yeah.
What else did you want to say about it?
I think that the third act of this movie is probably the better part of it because
Mm,
that's, I mean, that's where the climax happens. But I I enjoyed a lot of the like action sequences, the like dialogue, the like the kind of funnier bits with the guy like falling through the vent and then finding Katie and like there's just a lot of good parts in the third act that like during the first two acts I was kind of like, okay, yeah, we're getting the story. We're like I was kind of confused on where it was going to lead, and then it finally all
right.
got kind of put together. And so I think they did it really well in that way.
Right.
Um, and so, um, but I gotta say, like they should have cast somebody else as Amelia because the entire time I was watching the movie, I was just thinking, damn, this girl is so pretty. And so I'm joking about casting somebody else, but I truly could not pay attention.
Yeah, that's funny. I think it's funny too because she looks like she should be a member of the Olsen family,
Yeah,
but
like I
she's
mean, I
not.
asked you at the beginning, I was like, who is that actress?
Yeah.
Because I thought it was Elizabeth Olsen.
No, yeah.
Like not, and I knew it wasn't, but there was still like, I was like, why does she?
There's an
There's enough
uncanny
there.
resemblance to that
Yeah,
family. Yeah.
I'm not the
Yeah,
only one
no,
that thinks
she
so.
no, no, no. People
Tons of people
online were like,
online,
wait a
yeah.
minute, yeah. But no, that's actress Ivana Sakno, who previously, for genre fans, she was in the Ahsoka TV series on Disney Plus. Um, so, and she'll be on the second season of that as well. So, yeah. So, all right. I don't know what else I can say about it. I
Hmm.
just genuinely had a really good time with this. I think it's definitely worth watching. If you've gotten through this, and you haven't watched the movie, go watch it. Let us
Yeah.
know what you think of it. Let me know if you disagree or agree. Um, but I think and that's, getting back to the AI horror of it and everything like that. I think it was interesting because they were talking about, they didn't want to let loose this AI, this old AI that had just, had grown,
Hmm.
and was gonna try to take over. And that was part of the end sequence as well, too, because Amelia does become sentient, um, because um, Gemma and oh no, not Gemma, Katie and the guy, I can't remember
Hmm.
his name, um,
Try to reset her back to
try to
factory
reset.
settings
Yeah,
to
they try to
Megan,
factory reset
but
her to
then
Megan. Yeah,
it gets
and then bond or
overloaded.
pair her with Katie, and
Yeah.
then but she gets overloaded, and she ends up gaining like kind of
Sentient.
like goes,
Yeah.
yeah, kind of goes even more back to factory reset,
Yeah.
and
Like a
then
full factory reset.
she realizes that she needs to like open up this old AI and
Hmm.
let it, and then it gets into her,
Hmm.
um and then it's like loose and it's like,
Yeah.
oh no. So that's and they managed to stop it and everything. So I think that's, I don't know, it's just a fun, it's like, it's definitely an action movie. It's definitely a sci-fi thing. I think, it definitely leans into some horror here and there.
Hmm.
Um, you know, but I think it does kind of the best of all of it. It's a good sci-fi action horror comedy. It kind of just
Yeah.
is everything and does it pretty well. So, which is good for me. Like I like that kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, if you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it. Especially if you made it this far and you listen to all that and got spoiled.
Might as well just
Um,
watch it at this point.
yeah, right. Because I'm not doing it justice by explaining it at all. Um, there's a lot in there that's that I've skipped over, and just a lot of fun. Um, but yeah, is there anything else that you wanted to mention about the movie that I might have missed or anything?
No, I don't have anything off the top of my head.
Okay. Well, why don't you let people know where they can find you online?
Well, I don't really use a lot of stuff, but if you want to follow my letterbox, it's RCKMNKY. So
All
you
right.
can follow me there if you care.
Yeah, cool.
I don't really post much on that anyways, but
Right.
probably
Yeah.
should, but I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been kind of slacking on any social media lately myself too. So, which probably isn't the best thing when you're doing a podcast, but whatever. So anyway, all right. Well, I appreciate you coming on and talking to me about this. We get to, Katrina and I go to the movies pretty often. I'd say usually weekly.
Hmm.
Not
There's good
always.
stuff out.
Yeah. I'm gonna go watch the new Jurassic Park, but she doesn't really care about it. So I'm gonna go watch that with my wife this next week. So um but other than that, we're gonna go see whatever else we can go see later on as well.
Hmm.
Um but yeah. Uh, it's always great having a movie buddy to
Yeah,
go with. Um, you know, but all right, well, thank you again, and
no
I
problem.
appreciate you coming on, and hopefully we can get you on for something again in the future if we can
Yep.
make the scheduling work right.
Yeah.
Um, but until then, stay creepy. Thanks for listening. Creepy and Geeky is produced and hosted by Robert Clark. If you like what you've heard, please consider giving the show 5 stars and a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and share the podcast on social media to help spread the word. Make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast app or at creepyandgeeky.com. You can follow the podcast by going to creepyandgeeky.com and clicking on any of the social links. If you'd like to follow me, you can find my links at geekthulu.com. You can support the podcast by ordering teas and more on TeePublic or by donating to the coffee page. All of the links are in the show notes. Finally, don't forget, stay creepy.